What is happening, ladder climbers? Antoine Wade here, back again for another live stream. Let me do this. Let me get my camera right. Let me get my camera right. It looks like that's a little bit off. Let me get that. Let me just tilt that just a little bit. Guys, I hope you guys have had a fantastic Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys had a fantastic Christmas. I had a good one myself. Your boy is back to 97%, man. That battery meter just keeps going up, up, up each day. As you guys know, I contracted COVID. I got the Omicron. But I'm doing a lot better, guys. I am doing a lot better. The entire family is doing a lot better. Matter of fact, it went through this entire house. Everybody at my mom's house, where we currently are, eventually got it. So it is highly contagious. My advice to you, just like I tell everybody, how I was telling everybody, is to guys keep yourself protected. Keep yourself protected, because I think this is going to hit just about everyone. And the reason why I think that is because, put it like this: somebody who had the symptoms, some pretty bad symptoms, one of my tests came out negative. Right? So just imagine if somebody who doesn't have the symptoms, like somebody like my wife, end up testing negative and still going somewhere carrying it, even though her husband is the one who got it and she's kissing all up on me, taking care of me. So, guys, just be careful, be vigilant, put your mask on, and continue to protect yourself and protect your families. But, guys, Merry Christmas. I'm glad that we're back. I wanted to do this today. Before I even get started on that, let's do this. I want to do this. Let me find out who's all in here, guys. If you are in here, go ahead and leave me a 1 in the chat. I want to say what's happening to my people, my ladder climbers. Blind Guy, his wife, their life, Corey and Laquita is in the house. Good day, good people. One of the beautiful, one of my favorite couples on YouTube. Blind Guy, his wife, their life, Corey and Laquita. We appreciate you for joining us today. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you guys had a Merry Christmas and you guys ate well, and I'm looking forward to the New Year's as well, too. Who else is in the house? Guys, go ahead and leave me a 1 in the chat if you're in the house. I want to do this today. We have the New Year's coming up, right? New Year's, people want to do new things. People already have resolutions and all this other stuff that they're already talking about. Hey, you know what? We talk about tech on this channel, specifically around management information systems, specifically around computer science and so forth. And people are wanting to get into tech. There's multiple ways that you can get into it. We talk a lot about the college education route on this channel as well, too. But let's just say you're going into the new year. You want to do something completely different within your life. You're going to have a lot of opportunities to do that with tech. And that's how, and what we talk about on this channel. It could be with certifications. It could be by going to school. But let's also say that you want to go to school. Well, if you're going to go to school, and this is just not even talking about the tech piece of it, you're going to want to avoid getting certain types of degrees. And these degrees are going to be the ones that we're going to be talking about in this live stream today. This is going to be a quick live stream because I want to give you guys a little bit of data statistics into why you shouldn't just be going to college without a plan. Going to college without a plan is basically planning to fail. And you're going to end up being one of those type of people that went to college and say that you got a useless degree and then you were scammed. So we're going to go through a list of 10 useless degrees that exist out there that I want you all to avoid from getting. I want you guys to avoid from getting. Matter of fact, I just don't want you guys to avoid from getting it. I want you to, anybody that you know who are going to college one day, could be your niece, your nephews, right? Could be your cousins, could be your aunts, uncles, who are choosing to go to college route because it may be something that's been told to them in their family, in your family, to just go to college, right? I want you guys to take this information and say, hey, you know what? If you're going to college, what are you going to college for? Ask those specific questions. What are you going to college for? And they come back and say, one of these top 10 that we're going to go through, or I wouldn't even call them top 10, worst 10 college majors that exist out there, I want you to not physically smack them, but you're going to have to give them a verbal smack that they shouldn't be going to school for these degrees. So let's get into it because it's going to be a quick one, guys. It's going to be a quick one. I wanted to get this video out today because it's an important time for us to make sure that we are telling people the right information and giving people the right information about school. So you guys already know school is very expensive. I'm like the average cost of going to a public school in the United States is about $70,000 today. That's $70,000 today. That's going to a public school in state. If you're going to go to a private institution, that's more like $160,000 a year. So if you think about that, right, it's a major investment for everyone. Public school or private school, you're going to be spending close to $100,000 just to get an education from a four-year institution. And with that being said, the earnings that you are going to be able to, make all comes down to the choices that you make when you go to college. And the earnings, your lifetime earnings, is a result of your major that you're actually going to choose. Just remember that and tell people this as well too. The lifetime earnings is going to be a result of the job prospects that you have and the job prospects that you get, but it also ultimately comes down to the major that you choose. And not all majors are equal. And some people will tell you that. Some people will tell you that going to school and getting a basket weaving degree is equal to getting a management information systems degree. They say just go to college. You're probably going to be coming out and you're making more money. Maybe that was from the 60s. People are still hanging on to that information. That's not good information. That is wrong information. So, using earnings and employment information, there was a study that was done by Bankrate. And it basically gave a list of 162 college majors that exist out there that are more favorable and allows for people to have a lot of success after graduation, and ones that are performing very bad to where people aren't going to have a lot of success after graduation at all. Therefore, these are the same people that ultimately says college is a scam. You don't want to be on that tail end where people are saying college is a scam, because college is a scam. Ultimately, you made a bad choice. Okay. Let's use the information that exists out there, because this information exists for everybody. And let's not use an excuse and say college is the ones that's actually causing this, because ultimately it's your choice. And the information is out there for everybody. The internet is free. Okay. But there are majors that are at the bottom of this list. And these are the ones that are at the bottom of this list. So I want you guys to remember this and write this information down as well too. And give me your information on it as well, because I want for this information to go out to a whole bunch of people. More people need to be educated on what not to choose when going to college versus what to choose. Because you still have people still going to school for library science, which is number 10 on this list right here. Okay. Number 10 is library sciences. You're probably like, what is library sciences, Antoine? Well, think about this. The average income for a library science major is about $48,000 a year. The unemployment rate is about 3.3%, which is relatively high because in the United States, the unemployment rate is around 3.5%. Okay. Most library science majors, they go on to become a librarian. But you already know what happened with libraries when COVID happened, right? They all were shut down. They're starting to receive less and less funding, right? The pay is becoming fewer and fewer because librarians, the role is starting to transition. It's starting to transition. So you're going to need a little bit more skills. But the education behind the librarian hasn't changed at all. And there's a lot of non-traditional jobs options, including market research, that you can become or you do as a librarian. But there are other majors that you can choose if that's where you want to become a librarian. Some librarians can make a whole bunch of money, but that doesn't mean the major of library sciences is the right choice for it. Matter of fact, management information systems is a better major that's going to give you more options to go and become a librarian, as well as a database administrator, as well as an SEO specialist, as well as an information architect, versus doing a major of library sciences. And again, library sciences is not it, because it's going to pigeonhole you to do just to become a librarian. You're going to want to have a major that's going to give you multiple options. That's going to allow for you to choose to become a librarian or a database administrator or an SEO specialist and so forth. So at number 10 is that of a librarian. Don't choose it. A librarian scientist. Let me repeat that. At number 10 is that of a library scientist. Library scientist, sorry. At number 9 is interdisciplinary studies. This is another one that I had no idea what it is, but basically what interdisciplinary studies is a specialty major spanning everything from ancient language studies to archaeology to neuroscience. Average income for these guys is around $48,000 a year. And the unemployment rate is 5.4%, almost double that of the national average. And a person graduating, with this, they go on and have a career as an anthropologist, antique dealers, hospice nurse, historic preservationist. You're really going to have to get a higher level of education to even use a degree like this. And it's not going to be worth the juice to squeeze. You're going to have more debt than you're going to have more earning potential. More debt than more earning potential. If you want to get into a field like this, you're going to be wasting your time. So don't do anything with interdisciplinary studies at all. This major exists across a lot of schools, but this shouldn't be one of the ones that you should be selecting. It's a cupcake major, I would say. At number 8, guys. At number 8 is drama and theater arts. At number 8 is drama and theater arts. And choosing a career as an actor, it isn't for the faint of heart, because acting can be very difficult. But what I would say is that you can learn how to act without having to go to a 4-year degree. Okay. You can get acting lessons. You can spend a lot less money than $77,000 a year going to a public institution within state to learn how to act. And a drama and a arts degree basically provides basic training and education. And the only thing that's going to get you is a job in theater. It's not going to allow for you to do much else outside of that. And the average income is $48,000 a year. Unemployment rate is 5.2, which is very, very high as well, too. So it's not only the fact that you're not going to have many options, but it's very difficult to become an actor. It's very difficult to become an actor. And not everyone can be famous as well, too. You will have a better chance of just taking some acting classes and jumping on YouTube than to get a degree in theater arts at a university. It's going to cost you a lot more money doing that route, and leave yourself in a lot more student debt as well, too. At number 7, guys, is educational psychology. Educational psychology. Again, I'm a fan of psychologists. I'm a big fan of psychologists. I got to say that. But the degree is pretty useless if you don't get a master's degree or a PhD. Okay. If you're not a practicing psychologist, you're not making a lot of money at all. And a lot of people don't understand that when they go to school, they go and get their psychology major or become a psychology major, get a psychology degree, that there's another, 8 or 4 more years that they have to go down in order for them to become a practicing psychologist. Okay. But educational psychology is a study of different ways where, people learn and how they process information, typically kids, right? And employment prospects can be a bit grime for graduates with this degree. And for those who want to continue research, another degree or potentially a PhD might be in order. So, you have to really think about if this is going to be a good field for you, because it doesn't pay that much money itself, and it's going to cause you to spend even more money getting an upper level degree as a master's as well as a PhD. And the average income for these guys, for these majors, is $54,000 a year. Unemployment rate is 6.3%. But yet you have a whole bunch of us going into this major. There was a study, and I'll show that study pretty soon, of this being one of the top majors that a lot of people go into, especially a lot of ladies. I don't understand why, because unemployment is at 6.3%. It's oversaturated. Yes, it could be for the greater good of people, but you're going to be left with a whole bunch of debt and a little bit of growing opportunity within your career. At number 6, guys, and this is a backwards countdown, by the way. I started off at number 10, and now I'm at number 6. But at number 6, guys, is human services and community organization with average income of $41,000 a year, unemployment rate of 3.9%. It's high. Average income, it's low. One of the things that when I talk to people about, and coach people about going to college and what majors they should be choosing, I always look at it from a numbers perspective. It's all about how much money you're going to be making. What are the opportunities that you're going to potentially get after you graduate? Well, if the median income in the United States is $54,000 a year, I say choose a career that's going to allow for you to exceed that or earn that. And there's many careers that's going to allow for you to exceed that. There's some careers that's going to allow for you to be at that level. At least try to be at that level. And these ones right here, they're below that level. So if you want to be somewhat successful in life and have a pretty normal opportunity, a normal career, or an above average career, you should be choosing a major that allows for you to make a certain amount of money and allows for you to have a good, decent earning potential in your life. So this is one of those majors that doesn't allow that. It doesn't allow that at all. Human services and community organization. Human services and community organization degree alone may not be enough to land a job. On the upside, the degree can be used to follow a wide range of career paths, although more college training and even an internship may be needed. It's just a major that allows for you to help individuals and families and communities to improve your communication or to improve their communication and their well-being. I mean, that's all you're doing. You're helping individuals, families, and communities improve their communication. You can do that. You can do that without that degree. You can do that with any tech degree as well too. All you have to do is become active within the communities that you're in and still make a whole bunch more money. Do that on the side while you're getting a tech degree or a STEM degree. Science, technology, engineering, math. When I show you a list of the degrees or the majors that are high on the list, you're going to see where they're going to land. STEM is where it is. At number 5 of the worst 10 is visual arts with an average income of $43,000 a year. Unemployment rate 4%. Visual arts degrees can convey a broad range of artistic skills from drawing, painting, sculpture, printmaking, photography, and animation. Guys, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. These are all skills that you can learn on your own. These are all skills that you can learn on iPad, Adobe Photoshop. You can learn how to paint. You don't need to go to school 4 years to learn how to be an artist. The majority of artists that are successful artists didn't go to school to be an artist. They just painted and did enough of it and saw the world with exposure and was able to continue to improve on what they've been doing. But the majority of them didn't go to a 4-year program to be an artist or a photographer. It's a waste of your time and a waste of your money. And if you're going to go to school to do any of this stuff, you're going to literally be wasting your time and your money. Take this from Uncle Antoine. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it at all. So you guys already know I have a niece. And I thought this video was important because I had a chance to talk to her. And she said, Antoine, thank you so much for exposing me to management information systems. Thank you so much for exposing me to IT, to other better opportunities, better career possibilities by you just sharing with me what you majored in and so forth and what that major was about. I get, basically messages every single day from people all over the world saying, Antoine, I'm so glad that you exposed this major. I'm so glad that you're exposing all these other majors, all these other degrees and so forth. because nobody in my family has said anything to me about this, or my guidance counselor hasn't said anything to me about this. Now, this is the path that I'm going to go to. Yes, I'm interested in the tech. Why am I interested in tech? Well, I'm interested in tech because I want to help people. Well, I'm interested in tech because I see that as a future. Well, I'm interested in tech because I want to make a shitload of money. A lot of people just aren't talking about this. And this is one of the reasons why our community continues to run on the treadmill, the non-stop treadmill of doing the same thing that's not going anywhere, that's not making any progress. And then the blaming, the victimization comes in. College is a scam. They're taking our money. Nobody told me that these college majors sucked. Yeah, they did. It was told to me ever since before I even went to college. You should be going to college to become a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. It was told to you. You just chose not to listen. You chose to go to college to party, thinking that it was just a game. You had no idea about finances. Nobody explained to you about finances and how finances work. When you go and take a loan out to go to college, that's shit that you got to pay back. So you're going to go to school and spend $77,000 a year. You're going to have to pay that shit back. And your mom and dad ain't going to pay that back. It's going to have to be you to pay that back. And if you don't select a major, you're not going to be able to pay that back. And if you don't select a good major, you're not going to get the career opportunities to even get the possibility to pay that back. If you don't select a good major, you're going to be working at Walmart for the rest of your life as a greeter. These are the things that we want to prevent people from taking a path that's going to set them back a long time in life and give them, a big mound to climb rather than giving them, a boost out of the starting blocks because they chose to go to school and major in something that was going to be useful. Okay. So the fourth one on the list, outside of the fine arts or the visual arts, right, is cosmetology services and culinary arts. Guys, I love cooking. I love when people cook for me, right? But you shouldn't be going to school for cosmetology, and culinary art degrees. Okay. The average income for these guys coming out of school or just anybody with a degree is $42,000. Unemployment rate is 4.7%. Right? These guys are service jobs, and you're going to need a whole bunch of experience. And experience is important. And a degree simply isn't enough to get you hired. And cosmetology majors learn about health and hygiene and treatments used in spas and saloons. And job graduates may include hairdressing, aesthetics, makeup artistry, saloons, fashion shows, theater, and film. And culinary arts degrees focus on managing food businesses. So grads go on to find work in catering, hospitality, nutrition, consulting, kitchen or cafeteria work. Yeah, the majority of them are just end up in working in a cafeteria. Right? Now, if they go on start to own a restaurant, you can open a restaurant, learn a little bit about culinary school and culinary arts and cosmetology without getting a 4-year degree. There are schools, you might as well say they're boot camps that exist out there that allow for you to shortcut that process and spending 4 years getting a major in something that's just useless. Absolutely useless. Another one, psychology. And I talked about psychology earlier. So that was educational psychology, working with the young ones. Well, this is psychology, right? There's a lot of psychologists out there, right? Average income, $51,000 a year. Unemployment rate, 4.8%. There are two main areas of psychology: counseling, clinical psychology. While counseling psychology is concerned with treating healthy individuals, clinical psychology focuses on helping those with serious mental illness. And you need to have a grad level degree in order for you to help anybody. So $77,000 for a 4-year degree, a grad school degree, is probably going to cost you just as much. Where your earning potential is only going to be about $51,000 a year. It doesn't make sense. The money just doesn't make sense. The return on investment just doesn't make sense at all. So why even select a degree like this? It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Let me look up that article real fast before I jump on to the last two on here. There's an article on here about, I think it was done by Georgetown, the University of Georgetown, discussing study. I gotta find it. Majors. Okay. Hey. All right. I think I found it. I think I just found it. And we're going to look at this right here. I'm going to share something with you guys. Let me share something with you guys really fast. You guys are going to like this one. Boom. Okay. You guys see my screen. African Americans, college majors and earnings. Top 10 majors by percentage of African Americans bachelor's degree holders. Okay. Top 10 majors by percentage of African American bachelor's degree holders. Number one, health, medical administration, 21%. Two, human services and community organization, 20%. Three, social work, 19%. Public administration, 17%. Criminal justice and fire protection, 15%. Sociology, 14%. Computer information systems, 14%. Human resources personnel. Why in the hell are all these so damn high up here? 21%, 20%, 17, 19%. These are all the lowest paid majors out here. Lowest paid. If you look at the 10 highest earning majors for African Americans, pharmacy, industrial manufacturing engineering, chemical engineering, electrical engineering, manufactural, mechanical engineering, computer engineering, civil engineering, nursing, general engineering, computer science. Right? The 10 lowest. But you find a whole bunch of us getting these degrees. Early childhood education, human services and community organization, area ethic, civilization studies, family and consumer sciences, drama, theater arts. The worst paying for anybody, but yet you have a huge amount of us going into these areas. A huge amount. I don't get it. I don't get it. So that's the reason for this video today, is to share information like this, because we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Right? You're shooting yourselves in your foot if you're not practicing this information or sharing this information, and you're doing the opposite, just going to college to get a major that doesn't make any sense. All of these majors up here, the 10 highest earning for African Americans, are all STEM: engineering, medical, tech, engineering, pharmacy. Worst ones: early childhood education, human services and community organization, area ethnic and civilization studies, family and consumer sciences, drama, theater arts. Absolute garbage degrees. Going to school, wasting money, saying college scams you. No, you made the wrong choice. So don't make the wrong choice. Don't make the wrong choice. Let me get back to it. What was the number two? Number two was composition and speech. Oh man. Oh my gosh. Composition and speech. Composition and speech majors focus their studies on art of communication. They learn how to create public speeches, confidently telling stories and captivating an audience. That's not what you learn for 4 years. It's not worth it. You can pick up a book and learn how to do public speeches. You can watch the Martin Luther King "I Had a Dream" speech and look at his cadence and practice that. You can watch a lot of TED Talk videos on YouTube to learn how to do so. Matter of fact, you can do classes, Toastmasters, all of that stuff that's going to be a lot cheaper, probably almost free, for you to do this sort of stuff. But yet, some people are going to school getting these degrees that's not going to pay them a damn thing. Nothing at all. Average income, $44,000 a year. $10,000 less than the average income of the United States, already putting you down into the lower class. If we're saying average, it's $54,000 a year, and you're getting a degree where the average income is $44,000 a year, you're basically saying you belong down there. You belong at the bottom. Doesn't make any sense. Unemployment rate, 4.9%. Garbage. Absolutely a garbage degree. Another one, fine arts. And that's number one. Fine arts is number one. Average income, $40,000, even lower. Unemployment rate, 9.1%. 9.1%. 9.1%. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. Well, I'm trying to look at these other resources in here too, because I want to see the full report. Because there was a huge population of people who went into fine arts, right? Liberal arts, 6%. Arts, 5%. 5% of us go into the arts. That's a huge amount of people. That's a huge amount of people. Out of the millions of people that exist in the United States, 5%. Yeah, you're saying college is a scam. I see why you say college is a scam, because you made the wrong choice. And college didn't scam you. They didn't scam you at all. You didn't take the information that you were given, become a doctor, a lawyer, or engineer. Grandma told you that. Grandma told you that because she told me. Your uncles told you that. No, you didn't listen. You wanted to go to college and trick off, have fun, look good, take your financial aid money. You probably didn't finish school, a lot of us, right? But the whole point of this video is to make sure that the people in our families don't continue this cycle. Information that can be passed down and shared to say, hey, you know what? You're going to choose to go to college? That's a good thing. What are you going to major in? Fine arts. Hell no, don't go. Don't do it. You should be yelling at them. What are you going to major in? Political science. Hell no, don't do it. Why? Uncle Antoine said so. Uncle Antoine said, nah, you don't want to do that. Who's Uncle Antoine? Send him to Black Heights. Send him to the Black Heights channel. What are you going to major in? I think I want to be a chef. You going to go to school to be a chef? Yeah, I'm going to be in school to be a chef. Verbally slap him. Hell wrong with you going to school to be a chef. What are you going to major in? I'm going to be a psychologist. What are you going to major in? I'm going to be a psychologist. I'm going to be a psychology major. Verbally slap him. Absolutely garbage. Now they're going to be in debt, $80,000, coming out of school with no job prospects. Unemployment's still going to be high. They're going to be driving Uber, making me coffee at Starbucks, which is fine. I love these people. Great citizens. Pay their taxes and all. The problem comes in that is when they want more. And then they start to say, okay, well, school got us. The system got us. The systems that have been put in place for a long time made us do this. No, you made the wrong decision. You didn't listen. You're hard-headed. College is a scam. College is a scam. What are you majoring in? Fine arts. What are you majoring in fine arts for? Oh, because I want to be an artist. Well, you know you can become an artist without majoring in fine arts, right? Right? You know you become an art director without majoring in fine arts, right? You know you become a graphic designer without majoring in fine arts, right? These majors are absolutely useless. They're garbage, and you shouldn't be getting them. And anybody in your family, when they tell you what they're going to school for, and any of these 10 come up, verbally slap them. Library science, I'm going to repeat that. It was number 10. Interdisciplinary studies was number 9. Drama and theater arts was number 8. Garbage. Educational psychology, garbage. And here's the thing, guys. To each their own. But if you're looking to make an impact, life is a relay. Life is a relay. And every generation that is a part of your bloodline and your family has to run their leg of the relay to set you and your family up for success. And if you run your leg of the relay, majoring in psychology, what the hell you think? You're not going to be able to have a lot of career growth in a life full of, wealth and riches to pass on down to the next generation that's going to be running that relay. You're going to be saying college is a scam. You're going to be saying, you know what, I wasn't able to accomplish very much. Education is important, and this is telling you what not to get in education, because ultimately you're going to be wasting your money. You're going to be wasting your money, and people will take your money. People will be happy to take your money. They'll tell you, they'll market. Yeah, you can become the next Michelangelo with a fine arts degree. And you can choose to go and do it. And you can look up the statistics, and the statistics will say unemployment rate for this group, 9%. You still go and get it because they say, you can be that diamond in the rough. They always talk about the one in a million. Sell you on the 1 in a million. And all of a sudden you decide you want to go down that route because they sold you on it and they market it. Yet the data was out there. You didn't do your research. You didn't come to Black Heights channel. All right, I'm going to show you guys something now. I'm going to show you guys something right now. So here's the, all right, do I have my, I wonder if StreamYard, can you actually share your screen? Let me see if I can share my screen. All right, here, okay. Maybe you guys can hopefully see this. So I dumped this into a spreadsheet. I wanted you guys to be able to see this, but there's a whole ranking of majors that exist out here. Okay, there's a ranking that of majors that exist out here. What I'll do is I'll put this on the drive and I'll put it in the video description as well too, just so that you guys can get it and share this information. And basically what it is there's a ranking. There's also the declared degree, the median income, unemployment rate, and the percent with advanced degrees, okay? And basically, I want you guys to have this information so that you can start to filter on things like unemployment rate, okay? Largest, smallest, right? And you start to see, wow, and once you start to filter, these have high unemployment rates. These are majors that you want to tell people to stay away from, right? Miscellaneous fine arts, petroleum engineering is high at this point in time, but you see it ranked at number 30. Only reason is because the percent of advanced degrees, right? So you have to look at the information with a good eye. You have to look at the information with a good eye. But needless to say, you're going to see that some of these majors up here are ones that we talked about itself. Mass media, drama, theater, film, video, photographer arts, photographic arts, composition and speech, clinical psychology, nuclear engineering, right? Nuclear engineering is a fantastic one to go into, but you got to remember, it's going to cost you another 2 more years of education in order for you to make that amount of money, $100,000. That may be worth it. I think that is worth it. But psychology, 8 years, 6 years to make $51,000 a year? Hell no. No way. Okay. So I'll share this with you all. Let's go back to the ranking. Let me filter this the right way. But if you look at the top ones, they all STEM: architecture, engineer, construction services. Construction services is fantastic. Project management, construction sites, fantastic. Great major, great degree. Transportation sciences and technologies, aerospace engineering, electrical engineering, materials engineering, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, chemical engineering, pharmacy, industrial production technologies, health medical preparatory programs, right? Information science, computer science. Computer science was on a list most recently because it's become a bit oversaturated. Management information systems on here as well too. Not oversaturated though, right? $86,000 a year median income. Well, I talk about it. Computer and information systems, $78,000. Unemployment rate, 2.7. Right? You go on to the bottom of this list, all the ones that we talked about, all the ones that are under the median: social work, communications. But you go back to that list that I showed you guys, right? You go back to the list I showed you guys, a whole bunch of us find ourselves working in social work. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Social work is what number up here? Social work is number 145 out of 160. Okay? Ranked 145 out of 160. You need a grad degree, an advanced degree, in order for you to do remotely good in social work with a median income of $45,000. Okay? Love it. Love what they do. Right? 19% of African American degree holders get this major. Running on the non-stop treadmill. Treadmill going absolutely nowhere. Sociology, another one. Garbage. All these garbage degrees aren't paying you much of anything. Overrepresented in low earning majors. African Americans tend to be overrepresented in low earning majors. Low earning majors. That's why this channel exists. This channel exists to change that. Put the information out there. I don't know why this information has been out there. I just don't know if people listen. Right? This information's been out there. The data is out there. The statistics out there. Stuff comes out every single day. But yet, I want to see the numbers. The numbers are probably going the other way. Oh, it's an easy degree. I can do something with this degree. Right? That's not what we want. We don't want that at all. All right, guys. Let me get this off the screen. I was over here just getting it to it just now. I want to make sure that I didn't miss anything in the chats. Blind guy's wife. No need to complain about a degree that plan paid for, then wasted time on because you still had to go back to school. There's too much into out here nowadays. Absolutely. Absolutely. Joy Q. Hello, Mr. Wade. How you doing, Joy? I hope you're doing well, brother. I'm doing fantastic. PBO's in the house, brother. Big PBO's in the house. I appreciate you for being here, my man. Ashton James. Hello, chat. What's happening, Ashton? Free agency 97. STEM only. I agree, brother. I agree. I absolutely agree. Blind Guys Right. We meet again on All Spaces Prosperity, Professor Black Ops. Professor Black Ops be on everywhere, man. Blind Guys Wife, their life be everywhere as well. Jemiah, what's happening, brother? Actually, an interdisciplinary studies degree is a degree in any courses that cobbled together because you had a lot of various credits. I may or may not quit my ID program. Oh man, Black American Television News. STEM is the only degrees you need to get nowadays. I got a master's in public relations. If I could take it back, I would have gotten into tech. Yep. See? Matter of fact, hey, you know what? You guys want to come on and talk about this stuff? I initially was talking about I wasn't going to do a call in. I'm going to do a call in. Let me do this. Let me drop the link. I want to hear from you guys. I just talked about a whole bunch of stuff. I want to hear from you guys, right? I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys seeing out there? What do you guys think about these garbage degrees? But yet you find a whole bunch of us getting these degrees. What do you think is happening? Why do you think it's happening? Let me do this. I'm gonna go through the chats real fast. Don't want to miss anybody. You didn't have a time to laugh hard and loud at a theater degree. That's an OTJ degree, anyways, because you can learn any level of theater at theaters. That's true. STEM, law, healthcare, business seem like the only choices in the 21st century. Absolutely. Absolutely, Joy Q. 8-win is timeless. In my area, students can get a free AA while also getting their high school diploma. So in 4 years, one can get their master's. That's great. That's absolutely great. Facts, Tyrese says. First row, Billy Rose, my brother Billy Rose in the house, man. Go ahead. I can't wait for you to drop the link of the book into the chat so I can promote it, Billy. I can't wait for it, brother. I have always taught my sons that real world practice can make you better. We should not be selecting education that we can learn with time rather than monetary compensation. Absolutely, brother. Joey Q says, who knows that 22nd century might hold. We might see knitting and medieval blacksmithing. Joey, you about to give me a cough in the tab, brother, man. Go ahead, man. Oh, man. Tone all day. I'm watching this with my nieces and nephews because this is indeed needed in sisters. Yes, I'm glad, brother. I am so glad that you're watching this, my brother. Blind Guys Live, you can go live on YouTube and practice making speech. Exactly. Absolutely. Exactly. Salute. Background dope. Oh yeah, I got some. I'm in my mom's basement, man. I'm Michael. I'm in Wisconsin. Enjoying the family this holiday season. We spend a lot of time up here in Wisconsin, and we're at my mom's house this time. And I'm just having a good time there. So that's why you got a little bit of a different background and so forth. Blind Guy, you can practice for free on YouTube all day. Absolutely, you can get your speeches on for sure. Ashton, matter of fact, Ashton, I appreciate for this the $10 super chat too, my man. Sorry about that. Pan-Africanism strikes back. AAs don't like specifics. We love feuds where there is no wrong answer. We hate correction. We won't even major in history or geography. Too many specifics. Hey, I just say this. I say this. Pan-Africanism strikes back. Hey, you know what? The data is out there. The data is out there, and what majors you should be majoring in to get to the money and to get to the bag. And just like Joey Q said, STEM is it, right? Blind Guys Life, STEM is it, right? Michael Graham, STEM is it, right? Billy Rowe, first row, STEM is it. I appreciate you for the super chat, my man. I appreciate that. And you know what? Like, we have to make better choices. Bob Bacon official, I appreciate you. Hello, man. How you doing, brother? Princess, I clicked the thumbs up on the way in. Did you? Oh man, you got to remind him. I appreciate that, Princess. I appreciate that, Princessa. We guys, do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that like button. You need to hit the like button for sure. I appreciate that for doing the reminders there. Thank you so much, Tyrese. Saying the truth, Uncle Ant. Yeah, absolutely. Fang versus tech sales, which is better? Man, here's the thing. You can do tech sales at a Fang, right? Fang is just a place of work. Right? You can do tech sales at a Fang. It really doesn't matter. I mean, like you got to compare, tech sales versus engineering or tech sales versus management or something like that, right? But either way, tech sales is definitely a way to go if you want to get to the money. I showed you guys what I'm doing this year already. Don't make me get in here and show you guys again. But yeah, I mean, like the numbers that you can do in tech sales is absolutely crazy, right? And I'm happy to share it with you guys because, I do it. I live that life. Mike Graham says, slap him again, sir. I know a chick who wasted 4 years on a chemistry degree and went right back to school for nursing. Immediately found a high-paying job as LV. Absolutely. See, that's another mistake too. They go to school, get these lavish degrees, right? Chemistry degree. And, it turns out to be nothing because in order for you to, what are you going to do with a chemistry degree if you're not going to get advanced education? Get something that's useful. Get something that's useful, right? That's a waste of time and a waste of money. How much debt she's in now because she got a chemistry degree and she went back and get a nursing degree and probably was able to do it in 2 years. Insane. Mike Graham says the worst is when they go to expensive private college and get AA. Oh man. Oh my gosh. Yes, yes. PBL says great information. Noah Page says not clowns. Guys, that's right. All my champions are in here. All my family is in here, guys. My family is in here. You want to become part of the family, become part of the Patreon. You want to become part of the family, become part of the Patreon. Noah just dropped that in the link right here. I appreciate you, brother Noah. Thank you so much again for being a premium Patreon member. Noah always rocking with us. Good people. If you want to become a part of the ladder climbers that are always pushing themselves, giving themselves, a boost in the back to move forward, to run their leg of the relay, right? At a 9.98 seconds versus a 15-second in a 100-meter dash, join our Patreon. We are at it. We're serious over here. Deuce X Machina says, hey, Antoine, joining late. Glad you're doing better. I am doing absolutely better, Deuce. Thank you so much for checking in on me, brother. Thank you so much for doing that. Brother Wade is doing good, right? You guys know that I had the Omicron. Omicron is hopefully out of my body right now, but I was down for a good 36 hours, maybe a little bit more than that, 48. But I am probably about like 97%. I woke up this morning feeling absolutely fantastic. Krista says, I used to be a social worker before I realized they pay horribly. So I switched to accounting and figure I can do charity work as a hobby. See, that's the smart way to go, Krista, right? Like, that's the smart way to go. You can choose to do it as a hobby. You can choose to volunteer to do it. There's so many ways that you can leverage your skill sets to help other people without going to choose that sort of a degree, because it's a waste of time and it doesn't pay well at all. I'm glad that you said that. Fell for that. Billy Rose says, first row says, once you know your worth, you can't fathom paying a premium to charge a discount. The numbers have added up. Absolutely, brother. Let me jump through here. Let me see. Peace to the family. BLOC from Milwaukee is in the house. What's happening, brother? I hope you're doing fantastic. Jamarly says, guilty. Got my undergrad in exercise science. Trying to pivot in marketing to health tech in the coming months to a year. I got you, brother. Hey, the good thing, Jamarly, is that you recognize that there's other opportunities for you, right? All you gotta do is pivot. Linrad says some of these folks just need Udemy to level up. That's another thing too. I'm so glad that you said that, Linrad, because you don't need school a lot of the times to get to get this stuff done, to get to the bag. There's so many ways that you can, level up these days with Udemy, YouTube, Coursera, boot camps, IT certifications, master IT, right? There's so many ways you can level up these days. Lee said, I earned my bachelor's in public administration, but jumped into IT right after graduation. Haven't looked back since. The earlier you can pivot, the better. Black Tech Ohead says, too many of us are misinformed when it comes to college degrees and will default to taking the easy degrees that will lead to a hard life in the long run. Damn right, Black Tech Ohead. Absolutely, because they think it's easy. And life in general is not easy. It's hard. Kavita said, I got my degree in history. I wish I would have done more research, but graduating during the financial crisis woke me up. See? Right? For a chem degree, she can work as a medical technologist. They make good money. A lot of people just don't even know that part of it, Jamarly, right? A lot of people don't even know that part of it. Or a chemical engineer, but I do agree we pick things without doing research and assessing their own strengths and weaknesses. Absolutely. Black America Television News and Information says you can earn, you can get vocational skills, but that makes money. But people look at that as not strategic. So that's why I think a lot of people don't get into it. Absolutely. A vocational school is another way to do it. But you're right. You're absolutely right. There's a stigma about going to community college and stuff like that. I don't think it exists anymore. Matter of fact, I think the people who go to community college are brilliant people, especially if you're doing it to save on costs and so forth, or vocational schools as well too. It's a great way to do it. Joey Q says, before I picked up MIS, I also went for a project management degree. My brother, who makes $150K in healthcare management, told me to pick something else. and get a PMT certification. Absolutely. See, that's smart. Very, very smart. Blind Guys White says, glad you're back on top, feeling good. We can we can call you later if you like the input from a nurse or keeping your health boosted. You know, I'm always willing to hear from my peoples, man. You know, I'm always willing to hear from my peoples. Your boy is back good. Let me do this. I'm gonna open this up because I want to hear from you guys as well too. I haven't heard from you guys in a long time. I want to hear what you guys got to say about this. You know, I love to hear from you guys. I'm gonna drop this in the StreamYard. Come on, come talk about it. Right, talk about why these degrees are garbage. Talk about why people are still getting these degrees. Right, it makes no sense at all. I want to hear from you guys. It doesn't have to be long. You don't have to stay long. Just come give your point, your perspective on it, and we'll leave it like that. But I definitely want to hear from you guys tonight. I gave myself some time to, get the message out there that there's a whole bunch of useless degrees that exist out there, and people need to be informed that these degrees aren't going to help you become any better within your life. Yes, you're going to go to school, you're going to meet a whole bunch of people, but you're going to be leaving school with a whole bunch of debt, and you're going to be looking back at it saying, why did I do that? Why did I spend my money? Why did I waste my time? Right? Why did I do it? We got Big Bro that's came through. Let me pull Big Bro through, man. Let me make sure you can hear me too. Big Bro, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, man. How you doing, man? Merry Christmas, brother.
Merry Christmas to you. I'm doing all right, man. Just trying to get motivated, man. Winding up the year, trying to get motivated.
I hear you, man. What you got on the topic, brother?
I mean, I think you really just spelled it out. I think we need to be very intentional because colleges get expensive. I graduated in 1990. They were giving Pell Grants out like water. They don't do that anymore. So we need to be, like you said, very intentional. The other weird thing is, though, I'm just pivot just a little bit. Is I always tease Gabe. Hey, he's got a nuclear physics degree. I'm like, dude, you're doing computer science like me. I promise you, that's much easier than being a nuclear physicist. They think he's a nuclear engineer or something, man. And I work with a ton of chemical engineers. I'm like, dude, computer science is much easier than all of that, man.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Both of them are hard degrees, but you're absolutely right. I'm like, I would think computer science is a lot easier than the nuclear physics.
I promise you that. We don't have to guess. I promise you that. So I work with a lot of engineers, and they just said the money was in IT, so they all pivot. I work with a ton of engineers. I laugh. I go, dude, comp sci is much easier than all of that. So then two is, like you said, why would you now, you get social work or something, you leaving with $80,000 making $20 an hour, you ain't gonna never get caught. You ain't gonna never get caught up with interest. Don't get a forbearance, then you're gonna double it. Because people take a forbearance, that's like quadruple your interest rate, man. So you done. You physically you're done. You just working.
That's right. That's exactly what it is. And for the rest of their life too. Trying to pay that back, knowing that you got that big monkey on your back that you have to pay back ultimately, or either you, like you said, forbearance, or you try to do something where you just don't pay it back at all. It's gonna F up your credit, right? I mean, it's just it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible, man.
No, that's all I got. Like I said, use the blueprint. Like I tell people, you need to be intentional, do your research, and I tell people the blueprint now for me is go to a local college, get all your, I call them BS, but all your well-rounded classes like psychology, sociology, then transfer, because most majors are what, 40 hours, 35 hours? So you taking 90 hours of just making well-rounded. You can knock all that out at a local college for a third of the price. So if you ain't stepping and barking and ski win, you might as well just stay at home and do a remote, man. I think that's really the blueprint.
I think that's what it is. I say this, PPO. I agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. And if let's just say I had a daughter who was going to go to college, right? Well, let's just say she was going to college next year, and she said, "Okay, I want to go to a public institution." I would say, hands down, although I have the money, 529 and all that stuff saved up, I would say, you know what? You're going to do your Gen Ed courses at a community college, something local. Stay around home. You can work, right? Gain those skills, that experience. Get those Gen Ed classes knocked out of your local community college. It's going to be a lot cheaper. Or you can do it at home, right? Save some money while you're working and potentially even use the money that you're saving or whatever it is to buy yourself an apartment when you get to the college in your last 2 years of school. or if your last whatever it is, like you said, 40 credits, because all you need is an additional 40 credits to graduate with a major like MIS, because that's the only time you're going to be focusing on that major your last 2 years anyway. So why not do it that way?
Yeah, ComSci, that's the blueprint. I teach at a local college, so I think that's the blueprint. Unless you got some legacy and you going to get some connections and some other stuff in college that is actually beyond education or something. Because people don't go to Harvard for education; they go to Harvard for the contacts, right? That's how they move. So you can meet those people. So when they move, you connected to them, right? So I think so. Like I said, I think to me that's the blueprint. Like you said, you can stay at home, knock them out, get you some experience. Because I think ComSci was like 42 credits. I'm like, so I got to take 90. I think I need 130 hours to graduate. So I took 90 hours of stuff. I could probably say I probably used 10% of that in my whole life.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's the blueprint, man. So like you preaching it, that's what I'm preaching. So I mean, like I said, I teach at a local college, so I'm not just throwing this out randomly. And the one I did is all the big colleges around us, new people were going to locus. So every credit we got is going to transfer to a major college in Indiana. Where I teach at is a transfer to Purdue, which is a top 5 engineering, IU, Notre Dame. So every 98% of your credit is going to transfer. And so it's already been mapped out. So that's the blueprint.
I hear that. And that's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. I'm gonna pull up some other people in here. PBO, stay here, brother.
Cool.
Trina's in the house. We got Brother Roe in the house too. How you doing, Trina?
I'm doing fine.
Oh, what you got on the topic, young lady?
I'm actually Black Television News Information, the one that said about I got the Master's in Public Relations.
Yes. Go ahead, and you got to tell us, Trina, why'd you do that? Why did you chose that degree?
Well, I like to write. I'm a writer, and actually, I have 3 college degrees. I have an associate's and a bachelor's and a master's. So, what I am learning is, this is just my personal opinion. It seems like it doesn't matter what field you get into, get an intern. If you don't get an intern, it seems like it's going to be hard for you to get a job, because a lot of these jobs are looking for experience. And if you don't really have the experience, it's just kind of hard. And now I got an intern. I'm interning.
Oh, internship.
I'm interning with this company to be an HR recruiter. I'm doing it for the experience. So hopefully after my intern is done, I could get a job being an HR recruiter for a company.
So tell me this, Trina. So what is your first degree in?
Associates in liberal arts.
Is it me, guys? Are you guys hearing the lag happen on her side?
It's a little lag.
You got associates in liberal arts. Okay, so that's 1 degree. So you went and one of you were on the far end of the degrees perspective.
Yes, and then I'm
getting quite a bit of lag. Is it me, or is it can you guys hear me? You guys hear me just fine?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right, good. Awesome. Okay. So I was asking Trina. So Trina, you have a liberal arts degree, and what other degrees do you have outside of liberal arts? What's your second degree?
I have a bachelor's in communications.
Okay, you got a bachelor's in communications, liberal arts, and then what's your third degree?
Master's in public relations.
Okay. Wow. So if you think about this, Trina, right? Like all those degrees that you got, those degrees tend to have fallen off on that bottom half from a career earning potential. Why do you think you chose those degrees from liberal arts, which is definitely in that bottom tier, to what was the second one you said?
Communications,
right? And then the last one was public relations, right? They all fall into that last 10% of some of the worst ones to find or to get into. Why do you think you chose those majors?
Well, to be honest with you, I remember like 10 years ago, they would say like the top 10 jobs, and public relations was one of them to get into. And it was like the thing, it was like one of the top 10 jobs that paid the money, like a lot of companies were looking for. Public relations was one of them to feel to get into. And back in the day, I wanted to start my own public relations firm too.
Yeah.
So get the experience. But now I basically changed my mind, to be honest with you. In the future, I want to start a video production company. That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
movie commercials and things, things like that. That's what I want to do in the future. But for right now, I'm interning so I can get a job as an HR recruiter and then like save up the money. So, I can start my future video production company. That's basically what I want to do.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay. Well, I don't think you answered that question, but Trina, but that's fine. That's fine. Let's give it to brother Bully Rowe. Brother Rowe, on what do you got for us, brother?
Man, I love me. I love this topic. Whenever I can, I try to catch it live.
What's up, brother? How are you? Merry Christmas, man.
Merry Christmas to you and the fam as well.
Absolutely.
Man, there's just so much to unpack. I love how you're approaching this. For me, I'm a person who found that institutionalized education didn't work well for me. And so in figuring that out for me, I quickly found out that going to spend $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 on an institutionalized education for myself wasn't the route for me to take. However, I am an avid believer of education and sought education to educate myself through going and acquiring the same books. My whole philosophy has always been, what's the difference between the person who takes the class and the person who reads the same book but doesn't have access to the class? I'm fortunate I have a very broad network, so I can tap people if I do have questions and need guidance. But I've made a very good career for myself in data analytics because I'm naturally an analytical person. And I've had those times where I've kind of been conflicted. Do I want to go back and get that education? Do I want the degree to say that I know what I'm doing? But in being the person who's been in the room when people are being hired or being interviewed and being like, wow, this person is coming with these degrees or with this educational background. And not to say that I'm smarter than them, but I'm competitive with them. I don't have to be smarter than you. I have to be able to compete. And so knowing that I'm competitive with these people, I'm like, yeah, I can't rationalize for myself unless there's something outside of the scope of what I do right now that I need additional education for. I can't rationalize going back to school to get a degree. It's like, okay, well, I've already hatched the chicken. So what, am I going to go and put the live chicken under the hen to incubate it now? No, at this point, I have over 15 years of experience with data analysis and analytics. So it's now the onus is on me to be like, hey, I need to go into these certifications, or I need to go into this boot camp because we're moving from SQL Server to Teradata. I need to know the differences in that language. And so I'll go and do a boot camp, or I'll go and do a weekend training in that. But I'm not going to go and do 4 years of education to get that, to acquire that knowledge base, because I have enough of a foundational knowledge that I can just build upon it. So I love the conversation of being a lot more intentional about if you're going the educational route, understand why you're going there. I love, I think it was a blind guy, his wife, and his piece, and their piece was, hey, you know what? We don't have to necessarily go into this field as our profession. We can go into it as a hobby. As I've told you, I'm working on a book. I knew I didn't want to be an author. There's not enough money in being an author for that, for me to go to school to learn how to write. Look, I'll pay somebody to edit and get the stuff that I miss grammatically. I'm okay with that.
All right, you can pay me.
As a hobby, I'm happy to take a year to work and be diligent towards something that I'm passionate about to do on my own time. Like I said, there's a difference between monetary compensation and time compensation. I'm willing to spend the time compensation to come together and write a book and make that come into fruition through my own individual efforts that somebody's not compensating me for. Now, will I be compensated on the back end? Absolutely. But I understand the forefront or the upfront investment is about time. And that's where, like, for me, when you're saying which degree are you going to pick, it doesn't make sense to pick a 6-year degree if it's going to take you 38 years to recoup the return on that investment. It just doesn't add up for me. So I've always been a common sense guy. I mean, I don't have to be the sharpest crown in the box, but I do feel like I am, at least you can still use me as a crown in the box. But at the end of the day, it's about making sure that once you identify what you're going to do, if the value doesn't meet the lifestyle that you want to live, then it's up to you to say, well, what is it that I want to do to live the lifestyle? And then this is what I'll do, because this will allow me to live the lifestyle. This will allow me to live the passion. And being able to prioritize those two things is super important. So I love the topic, as always. You always bring good topics that way.
Absolutely, brother. I love the fact that you actually said that, right? There's other ways, other methods that you can actually learn and still have a stable career, right? And you've been in data analytics for the last 15 years, but that was something that you were able to do by, picking up the same sort of books that anybody else did in school. You saved yourself a whole bunch of money, and look at now, you're a millionaire, right? Oh, top of the row, first row is a millionaire. My boy, you real estate millionaire as well out there. He's out there doing his thing. It's my brother right here, and he's doing some wonderful things. He doesn't have the 4-year degree, right? So there's other ways that you can do it as well. Pick up a book, learn it. Get into the field, be persistent about it. Now, one question, and this is going back to you, Trina, right? Because you mentioned, you mentioned the 3 degrees that you have, and I kind of went there initially, but I want to understand, even from the earlier ones that you chose, the liberal arts ones, because what I'm finding out on a lot of this stuff too is a lot of women are choosing a lot of these degrees as well too.
Yes.
So help me understand, why do you think you went with the liberal arts, the degree initially, the first one as well too, as one of the choices for you?
Well, to answer your question, I think the reason why a lot of women choose liberal arts, I think I'm just going to put this in more psychological way. Women are more emotional than men, and writing is more emotional. You put your feeling into it. And men, I think men are more analytical and straight up. Men are more straight up, get to the point. And I think that's one reason why a lot of men are better at, in my opinion, better at math than women, because math is more like critical thinking, more analytical. It's just basically 1 + 1 = 2. You solve the problem. And I think women are just more emotional, where writing is more like writing down your feelings, what you think, it's a more emotional thing to me. And then too, we're not pushed as women, especially women of color. I'll just say Black women. We're not really pushed to go into the tech field or the math and science field in general. They don't push women. They push men. To me, STEM is more of a man's world. That's just me. And it seems like more men gravitate towards tech than women, because we're not pushed to go into tech. We're not pushed to go there. It's like we're pushed to liberal arts, sociology. And it seems like sometimes when some women do want to go into the tech field, we get discouraged, like, oh, well, you're a woman, you have no business in tech, you're trying to be like a man, let the man do that. Just like women
so even, let me ask you this, Trina, because you mentioned something. Even you mentioned like your opinion on the strengths and weaknesses of men. But what about the data, right? What about, if you had a chance to do it all over again, would you still select that, based on the data that I shared, today, or would you oppose against it? Those measures, by the way.
I would have probably chosen that route, because this just seems like a better route. Just the money's there. It's just, like I said, as women, we're just not pushed into those fields. We've been told as women, that's what men do, STEM is men, the medical field is men, more men are doctors, let the men do that. Then like some of us women, when we try to get into those fields, some of us get discouraged. We're told stay away from that. That's a man's world. So
Yeah. Well, so I'm your niece. I'm gonna transform real quick. I'm Trina's 13-year-old niece, Antoinette, and I'm coming to Trina and say, Auntie Trina, you have 3 degrees. I want to go to college, and I want to major in liberal arts. What would you say to her?
please don't go more into the STEM field or vocational, get a trade, vocational. Me personally, I think the best thing to learn, in my opinion, is learn business, real estate, and stocks. I think that's where the money's at. You learn those 3, you're basically in, because that's wealth building. I think wealth building is just the key today.
Yeah. I think that's what everybody.
Entrepreneurship is just key. I don't care. It's all about learning business, real estate, and stocks today. If you learn those 3 and master it, you basically gonna be you can basically become a billionaire nowadays. I'm just saying, if you master those 3.
What you got on that, Ro? What you got on that, bro? I saw you raise your hand. What you got on that, bro?
So I think this is for me, this is the challenge with education and wealth. Is when I was growing up, I was told get an education. I was not told what to get an education in. I was not given clear guidance on what to get educated on in order to generate the income. And this is where I think this gap comes from. Generate the income to begin wealth generating activities. See, it's easy to say, oh yeah, real estate investing and all these things are the future, and that's what we need to be focused on. But without the financial means, you're not investing in anything. And I can tell you that because I've been in a position to where I had $0 in savings, where I would get paid and my bank account would still be negative. I'd be like, and then 2 more checks, I'll be at 0. And I thought that was a win. But the problem is that just like, hey, wealth development. Yeah, we all can agree that wealth development is where to be at. But going back to that general get an education with, I'm sorry, I forgot the young woman's name. Trinity? Okay. Trina, sorry. With Trina's saying, I would tell my niece, please don't go into STEM. It can't just be going to STEM. You have to be, and I've seen this working in the tech field, where you have to say, here are some of the challenges that you're going to have going into STEM. Right now, they perceive it to be a man's world. Right now, they perceive that women can't come in and bring in logic. But I've had many conversations with my nieces. Hey, don't take your emotional attachment or emotional connection as some form of weakness. Use that as your strength. Use that to understand people in the tech world who may not have the emotional intelligence level to compete with you in communication. Use that to your advantage. Don't say, oh, well, I'm a woman and I'm going to feel like I'm more emotional or I want to be more vocal. I can tell you from being on the tech side, I'll do analytics for like 12 hours in a day. And then when I sit down to do writing, I go into my emotional intelligence box. I don't stay in just the analysis. Now, I do use some of those analytical tools to organize my thoughts, but I do not use those tools just as I can only be an analyst or I can only be emotional. We have to start being a lot more descriptive in how we guide our youth, and not only how we guide our youth and how we guide ourselves. Like, I need to know that when I start my next week, I'm off until the beginning of next year. I need to know what my objectives are. What are the things that I want to knock out of the box, whether that be in the investment side, whether that be on the writing side, whether that be in wealth generation, whether that be in relationship development. I need to be very strategic and specific on how I'm going to approach those things. And so we can't just go in with these blanket statements of get an education. That's why I really like this feed, because you're like, hey, okay, get a college education, but let's look at what these college educations kick out on the back end, because I'm going to be pissed if I spend 4 years going through some program only to come out on the back end. And I've seen this happen where I'm going to make $32,000 on the back end. I don't need to go to school for that. I can make $32,000 on the back end easily. And there's been times, I remember when I was laid off during, actually, I'm sorry, I was laid off. And then when I took another job and then resigned from that job, I remember people were like, oh, you can come and work here and you can go and work there. And I had to be straightforward with them and say, I can't afford to take that job, because in my mind, I knew I wanted to get to wealth development. And if you know you want to get to wealth development, you can't take a $10 an hour job, because that doesn't lead to wealth generation, doesn't lead to generational wealth, let alone the generation that you're in wealth. So I agree with you on let's get to the real estate and all those different things. But I'm at 40 years old now, and it took me a while to get to this point to be able to say, okay, now I have the financial means to start making these real estate investments. Now I can look and say, hey, I got about 2,000 stocks in this company. I want to cash those out and invest it in something else. But before that, you can't do that at $10 an hour. You can save $1, but it's going to take you quite a bit of years before you have a substantial amount of money for you to be able to invest. So just again, that's just looking at the blanket statements of get an education, wealth development. Let's start being more specific about how we do these things and why we do these things, not just the old mentality of I cut the edges off the loaf so that it can fit in the pan, and that's the way we've always done it. Let's get out of those traditions and get more into the specifics and the intentionality.
Yes, I agree, but I think now I think it's very imperative, because we as Black people weren't taught this growing up. We weren't taught STEM. We weren't taught wealth building. I think it's just generation to generation. We were taught, our parents just get a job with the working class, get a job or go to school and get a job. That's what was taught to most of us. So now we have to learn. Now we have to learn, like you said, the process, step by step. You know.
I'm gonna put you on mute real quick, Trina, while your phone ringing.
Okay.
PBO, what you got on there, brother?
What's my man's name at the bottom? He's talking fact. I forgot his name.
Brother Billy Rowe. Let me see if I can get for some reason I can't get my my names up here, but it's brother Billy Rowe.
I guess my slight issue, everything you said is on point, is I get a lot of older people, because I'm a professional in real life. They need associates so they can get into management. Do you see that? Because a lot of gatekeepers to get in management and supervisors, they want you high degrees. So I get a lot of older people trying to, get into the get a management degree because they trying to get promoted because they want to grow up to be like Black Heights. Do you see that a lot too?
I do see that, and some of that comes from what the guidance has been. But I'm fortunate. I grew up in an area where networking is what got me to where I needed to be. Mm-hmm. And so I learned really quick in life to go into an organization with the idea that this is not where I'm staying. So I need to start meeting everybody else at other levels. So even in the organization that I'm in, I work in a very large organization right now. I know my vice president. I know my director. I know my manager. I know other directors. One of my mentors is a director that has nothing to do with my business line. So I could go and get an AA, but that is not the barrier that really keeps us from getting into these higher levels of management. What keeps us from getting there is our inability to network. And I've watched this. This is not just like a Black issue either. No. I've watched this with white people. We had a layoff take place in my organization. They laid off 4 people. They kept me and one other person. And the people who got laid off, the main thing for them was it was like people in other departments didn't know them. So they weren't subject matter experts to the business. And so when you're a subject matter expert to the business, when you have, hey, such and such told me to call you because you know what you're doing. Now, when those opportunities come up that you would never be in the room to hear about, now your name's being mentioned in those rooms. So you can go with an AA and maybe help launch that career goal that you may have, or they may go with that, not sure it's yours personally, but they may go with that career goal launch of an AA or even a BA. But the problem is that if you don't have the relationships, nepotism is still very prevalent in the corporate world today.
Oh,
and it is about who you know. If you don't know anybody, they don't know you. So they don't know to even come to you, even if you're the best candidate.
Oh, I'm known, player. I'm known.
I
be standing out, but no, I'm playing.
We all know you know.
No, I guess for my part is, and I agree with you, but sometimes because I'm in government, I do DOD, they actually put that in the job descriptions where you got to have degree. Like you said, I think that's a barrier to entry, but I agree with you. And I tell people, and a lot of people worry about, well, I'm the only black guy. I say, I'm sure you've been in room. People want to try me, but I'm going to show you how smart I am. You're going to try me. I'm going to embarrass you. So everybody know who I am. Even my white counterparts be like, hi, Ty, you going to embarrass somebody? I go, if they try me, I got to show out. I got to show out. So I'm about the life. But no, you're right. But I just see that as a barrier to entry sometimes. You see on job recs where you got to have a bachelor, you got to have associate. Because I talked to a guy, he goes, I get 3,000 resumes for a position. So he's got to artificially cut them out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of my only small pushback on the degree thing. I agree with you, but sometimes it's just a requirement to get there. And sometimes you got to do it. But like you said, maybe that's not the org for you if they have those requirements too. So
yeah, and I've seen that a lot with government positions. I've worked private my entire career. I went for a government position one time, and then they said $975 a month, and I was like, y'all lost y'all mind.
I work in federal, so the job prospects are good. Yeah, so it's good. But like you said, I just see those artificial intelligence. So my channel trying with Black Heights partner with is, what do we need to do to get over those artificial barriers? Is that, like you said, is that a cert? Is that a degree? Don't go spend the $50,000. Go to your local colleges, trying to figure out the best ways, to overcome that and make that happen. But two is shout out to you. I work with guys with PhD. I don't think can program out a paper bag. And I met some self-taught guys. Them guys be getting it out the mud because they didn't get spoon-fed in the class. So I seen it both ways, man.
Yeah, no, you're right though. From the aspect of with going into analytics, I went from working in a call center into analysis, and part of that is just being prepared when the opportunity came. It wasn't like, oh, well, you want me to become an analyst? Let me do all this studying. I was naturally an analytical person, and when they said, hey, can you show me what you can do with Excel? That was the first tool that they were asking. Can you show me what you can do with Excel? All those people who were like, hey, Billy, you're on vacation. Why are you playing with Excel? Why are you trying to learn how Excel works? All of a sudden, that didn't matter. And what mattered is I knew how to work with Excel way above and beyond what the person who was asking me, could I work with Excel, even anticipated. And so part of that is in there. But the other aspect of it is it doesn't matter what degree you have, period. Because some positions that I have seen, it's like you just have to have a degree. They don't even care what the degree is in. At some point, the lack of competency is going to show itself. And even though those barriers, I think, were put there, I'm going to say, in my own opinion, in some ways strategically, and I'll leave it at that on the strategic nature of those barriers. Even though some of them were placed there strategically, I feel, I do understand that there is a baseline competency that is required. And I always tell people, even though I don't have a degree, I believe that college is for some people because it teaches them that research mentality. Now, what Brother Wade said, where some people go there and they think they just gonna have a good time, party, slack off, then they come out, they really don't have any skills. They just have a degree because they knew how to pass classes and take tests. But when you have the ability to research, when you know how to do a Boolean research in Google and understand like that level of, I need to find the answer, then all of a sudden, if that's the route you took to get through college, now that AA means something, because you're going to take that same dedication, that same grit, that same determination, and apply it across the board when you don't know what to do at your job, when you're still learning, when you're in that gray space and you're in that unknown space, you're going to take those same skills and apply them. So I do think that in some ways those barriers, whether artificial or actually needed, I do feel like in some ways they are a weeding out process. But there's also ways to get around it. If you go into like the public sector, you can go in and get public experience, going back to interns, public experience, not even related, but you'll have 2, 3, 4, 5 years of public experience and you can circumvent that the necessity of that AA. So there's ways around it. It's just about the investment that you're willing to make. Do you want to invest, go to school? Do you want to invest this 5 years? I went into analytics and I knew I was stuck in the role with the company, in the department, under the management that I was in for 5 years, because I knew after 5 years, I'd go wherever the hell I want to go.
Facts. That's planning, and that's looking forward. Is two is I'm gonna be on your side. Is I got a 4-year degree, man. I could take the area of a tornado. I promise you, I've never used that in real life, man. So I'm on your side. I'm a bad man. I took calculus 3, but I promise you, I probably used in my whole career, I probably used 3% of that. Like you said, it was just a barrier. I look good on paper, so I could try to grow up to be like Wade and get one of them big number salaries one day. But so no, I agree with you on that. I'm gonna turn it back over to Black Heights. I could talk all day, man. I could talk all day.
Salute, bro.
Trina, you had something. What you wanted to say, Trina?
It's it seems like nowadays you can just go online. They have all sorts of like Coursera. It's like you don't really have to go to school anymore. You can go on Coursera, you can go on Allison and get these certificates. It's a lot of IT certificates. So it's like you can go on there and get certificates. And now you say you're in Austin, Black Heights?
Yeah, I'm in Austin.
So is everybody running to Austin to get these tech jobs? Just asking. Because that's a new Silicon Valley.
I think there's a lot of movement that's going on in Austin, Texas, right? If we're talking about specifically around tech, I think it is becoming, a very, very strategic place in the country where technology is going to be, a huge focus. And Austin has always been somewhat of a technology hub, but you're starting to see a lot more investment, in this area, a lot more over the last couple of years, especially since the pandemic has happened. You've seen companies like Amazon continue to invest in that area. You've seen companies like Tesla decide they wanted to move their headquarters there and leave Fremont, California. You've seen companies like Oracle, who's been in the Bay Area and one of the founders of one of the Bay Areas, move their headquarters to Austin, Texas as well, too, right? So that's just some of the larger ones. And you got to think about the smaller ones that are making their way over here to support these larger companies as well, too. The company that I work for moved our headquarters from the Silicon Valley area to Austin, Texas in 2014. So there's been a huge migration of tech companies coming to Austin over the last over the last decade, actually. You're just starting to see a lot more of it happening now because of how Texas is, right? Less regulation, and how California have really changed over the last couple of years under different, mayors and governors and so forth. So, but it's happening. Yes, it's definitely happening.
Do you plan on starting your own tech company?
One of the things you said, no, that's not my plan. My plan is not to start my own tech company.
Okay.
But what my plan is to do is to continue to help people get into tech.
Okay.
That's my plan. My plan is to help people to help people get into tech. And like Brother Rose said, right? So PBO asked the question. I want to hit on this one, right? Needing a bachelor's degree or an AA or associate's degree to get to management level. Yeah, there's reasons for a lot of this, and I'm not going to say I think Billy was really strategic about saying what it is. It is a weed out process, a lot of that, but you got to think about what college does. The college experience allows for you to work with individuals, right? To see other individuals that aren't really like you a lot of the times, and for you to get that touch of what the corporate America may be like with group assignments and so forth, right? So a lot of the old way of doing things in corporate America is still going to exist out there. And when they say, okay, well, for you to get into management, you have to have some sort of degree, it's because they still think that, people who go to college, are a bit more prepared because they've worked with more people, right? That's where a lot of people still think. Now, that's not the absolute truth at all, because you can be and have as many degrees and be one of the best college students ever, but you can be shitty with people because you just don't, you aren't really good with people. But it still is out there to that corporate America. A lot of it still believes that in order for you to move up, you got to have some level of education at the college level. what I would also say is this: is moving up. Billy Rowe hit it. It's about who you know, and that's something that we talk about on this channel all the time. Is the visibility piece of it, right? In order for you to move up anywhere in any company, you got to be visible. Who knows you? What do they know about you? When you aren't there, who's talking about you? We talk about this with mentors. We talked about this with sponsorships, right? We talked about this for a lot of times on this channel. And if you aren't the person who's, has any visibility, you are really ruining your career from having any opportunity for you to move up to get to the bag where you want to get to, right? At the end of the day, it's about those relationships. The reason why you all came on here today is because I got a great relationship with Brother Billy Rowe. Him and I texted each other yesterday. Got a great relationship with Brother PBO, right? I have a great relationship with a whole bunch of people, right? It's about having those relationships where people know who you are and can vouch for you and say, okay, well, you know what? Brother Rowe or Brother Antoine or Brother PBO or Sister Trina can actually do this job, right? Mm-hmm. There's a job that's opening here in Singapore. Sister Trina has the skill sets for it. She's been a high performer. Okay, well, let's give that to her. If you don't give yourself that visibility and nobody knows who the hell you are because you're just focusing on the stuff that you do and get your paid, to focus on whatever it is you have going at home, and you aren't spending the time and building those relationships with your director, your manager, your vice president, whether you're virtual or not, you're going to be shooting yourself in the foot as well, too. So there's multiple parts of, the dynamic of moving up in corporate America. I just wanted to make sure I touched on that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anybody has anything else?
No, like you said, I think it's just hitting. And I think we got to make sure we be very intentional. Like Billy Rowe said, he knows everybody's up the chain and they know him. And I think cultivating those relationships is a real big thing. And it's easier now with YouTube and Facebook. And I was in a remote cybersecurity organization in Cali. I just showed up in there and I just start talking, right? So it's much easier to do that. But we can't be scared. And shout out to imposter syndrome. Don't let that scare you, man. Everybody's scared, man. You just gotta jump in the pool and start dog paddling, man. You don't have to be looking like Mars Spitz or backstroking. You just need to get in the pool and start dog paddling to make it happen, man. That's all. Don't be scared. You guys got to get in there so people know. And you're gonna fail, but once again, dig in your pocket. Black Heights will give you a little discount, and you can join the groups and get better, man. You're not out here alone. Like that one dude we talked to, I was shocked. Black dude said, "We're out here alone." I said, "No, you're not, man. I'll help you. Black Heights, you talking to him now? You got a lot of help. It's not me in 1989. Wasn't no Facebook, wasn't no YouTube. You just pulling out technical manuals and by yourself trying to figure it out, man. We got your back. Dig in your pocket. Black Heights got you. Don't be cheap. Let's go."
Absolutely. I appreciate you, brother. What you got on it, Billy Rowe? What you want to send people off with, brother?
Oh, man, just I'm with PBO. It just people are out here that want to support you. I think where we sometimes get support confused is we think that support should be free. And really, if it's going to be of value to you, then you got to be willing to make that investment in yourself. Like I've had to invest a lot of money this year into myself. And we got to Christmas and they were like, what are you getting your fiance? And I was like, I got her a couple of deeds and a couple of LLCs. That's what we got this year for Christmas. I'm not worried about getting some Christmas present. We buy the things that we want throughout the year. And we invest in the things that we want to invest in throughout the year. And one of the major parts of our investment strategy is investing back into ourselves, whether that be education. She went from a legal secretary to a paralegal this year. Her income increased about $15,000 just in that small transition. The class cost like $2,000. And now you have locked in another $15,000 of income in your career every year. So just be willing to make those investments. Like PBO said, don't be cheap. Don't, because what will end up happening is you're gonna pay one way or the other. At the end of the day, you're gonna pay one way or the other. Whether that's in time because you didn't get that extra $15,000, or that's in money up front. Just be willing to reach out to those people that can help you. If it's Black Heights, then I love your content. I've been a fan of your content since you've started. We both started around the same time. So I'm a fan of your content. I love that you're out here really offering guidance and solutions. But if you want somebody to support you, you're going to have to be willing to invest in yourself for that support to be available. People have lives, and so it's not just for them. It's not for Antoine to take away from his family's life. He's right now out in Wisconsin, he ain't even in his state. But it's not for them to take away from their families and not have some type of return, because the investment that he made up front for his education, to be able to present this content and be able to do the research and go over the articles with the channel, I feel like that has value, and it's up to us. If that's what we need to get that value, then you got to support, and people can't live on well wishes and hopes and dreams. So that's what I'll leave you with. Support the channel. Support.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Brother Ro. I appreciate it. Trina, what you want to leave people with?
Well, I would like to see more women going still. There needs to be more push for women. I'm glad you brought that up, Black Heights, because I was going to ask, how is STEM looking for women? Because I think there needs to be more push coming from the STEM community and more men like you to push women to get into STEM, because we need more women in that field.
I would agree, Trina. I think there is a significant push of, especially, you think about the big article that came out this week with the founder of Black Girls Code, right? She's a huge nonprofit organization, right, where she's pushing more women to get in STEM. They got Black Men Code, but they also have tons of organizations. I think actually, in Trina, I would actually say this. I personally think, yes, I think there is an opinion that there isn't a lot of women into STEM, especially Black women, but I think there is more support for more Black women into getting to STEM than there is for actually Black men, right? Nice. So that's why I think that's why I have the channel that I have, and you see the dynamics of my channel and the content that I put out here. You see it being 80% men and about 14% women or something like that follow this channel. But I don't see a lot of channels like this that really cater towards Black men. But there's a lot of channels out there that really, resonate with a lot of Black women to get into tech. So I think there's a huge push for it, and I'm pushing for it myself, because I like to see the diversity within corporate America itself, right? And I want to see people, in these leadership positions. I want to see the next CEO, of being of color, right? Or Black, whatever you want to call it, right? I want to see that. A lot of times in these companies, I'm in these meetings, in these boardrooms, and shit, I'm the only one. I'm sick of that, right? So I get to talk about it from my experience as well too, right? And I don't care if it's seeing one other. If Billy Rowe was in my company, I'd be like, that's cool, right? Or if PBO was in my company, I'd be like, hey, just one more or something like that, right? So being a trailblazer is good. I love to be a trailblazer, but also I want people to know that, that there's room for them here. And I think they've been told, as you mentioned earlier, that means that there may not be room for them there. There's plenty of room. All you need to do is get your skill up, and all you need to do is compete. And that's it. It's simple. So,
I just got one thing to say.
Yeah.
You're right about. I'm just gonna keep it 100. It seems like everything is about Black women today. It's like Black women, Black women, Black women, Black women, and I'm proud of that, because I love Black girls rock, and I like to see Black women excel. But I think the problem is, the one reason why you see a lot of this Black push for Black women is because a lot of Black women are Democrats, and we're pushing for that.
Don't open that political. Don't do it, Trina. Nope. We don't want to get to the political side. We're not going to do it on this channel. Nope. You're about to open a whole bunch of worms now, man.
I wasn't trying to start no stuff. I was just saying I'm not the gender war, the Black men versus Black women. I'm not into all that. I'm just saying it's just a push, and when
I
it comes
hear you.
when it comes to black men, it's like a lot of black men have been ostracized. Just like nope, and black men need to get together and start pushing and advocating for black men. That's what I
Yeah,
think. That's just me.
yeah.
Facts,
Well,
facts.
you got a very good point. I people like this, Trina. I just didn't want to get into the political side of it, right? Because it's just not the right thing to do on this channel. But believe me, we're sitting in the backyard. We having this conversation. We're having this conversation, but
Facts, man.
it can go any kind of way. But I
Yeah,
get your point, and I
yeah.
agree with you. That's why this exists. That's why this channel exists. A lot of it is, and that's why I have the male support as well too. Is I want to show them that there's a way for them, and there's room for them to go, and tech is it. And if they want to do something in life, you want to be that that leg within the relay for their family generation that that runs a world record and does a world record, right? To set their generation up for numerous years with just the wisdom or money, whatever it is, right? To give people and show them that they have a space in this world, then do it.
Mhm.
Then absolutely do it. So, guys,
Facts.
I wanted to leave it there. I appreciate you guys all for coming on. Thank you, Brother Rowe. As always, thank you, PBO. As always, brother. Thank you, Miss Trina, for coming on for the first time. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. I'm gonna let you guys drop off, and let me take it back up, and I'm gonna answer some chats as well too, and then I'm gonna log us off as well too, guys.
All right, pleasure to meet you.
Let's meet
Absolutely,
you
see
too.
you guys. So, guys, that was the show today. I wanted to make sure I hit on it, and I'm glad that the panel came on and kind of gave their perspective on it as well too, on a number of things. Right? Be more intentional. Right? There's a place for you as well in this space. Right? Men, we need to focus. We need to focus on ourselves in this space as well too. But yeah, we have to support each other. We have to support our women as well too. Right? But just know that you need to be intentional when you're going to college. That's the whole point of this video today. Be intentional when you're going to college. There's a whole bunch of degrees out there that don't make sense. And if you're going to get a degree, you want to get one that does make sense. And you will find out within this video today that there are a ton of degrees that makes a lot of sense, and there's a ton that don't. Don't fall and get those degrees that don't make sense, because you're going to end up saying to yourself that college is a scam, and that's not what you want. And it's going to set you behind a long time. Okay. So that's what I want to leave you guys with. I appreciate all of you. Let me get here in the chats real fast. Tone all day said the OG. Crystal says I got a degree in AA degree for free, basically, because FAFSA paid for my classes. Absolutely. That's another way to do it. I was able to transfer to State University. That's fantastic, actually, Krista. Facts, internship is critical. Absolutely. Chris McDonald said that. Yes, and right. And Trina brought that up. Internships are critical for any role, especially coming out of school. If you're going to go to school and you're not going to get an internship, I know a lot of people who didn't get an internship and came out of school and still looking for a job. And this is people who graduated in 2020, because I'm trying to coach them to find their first job, their first professional job in the field where they've gotten a degree in. Jay Baru says, I have a bachelor's degree in Black Lives Matter movement. Come on, Jay. Man, that doesn't exist. I got your point, though, brother. Black guys, I say, us women know that we look at degrees that allow flexibility and easy life, because we know we'll be the ones taking maternity leave. I was speaking as a mother of three and a wife. Hey, you know what? And it's right. It's right. That's a piece of it that wasn't said at all, Laquita. And I think that's a huge part of it as well. That's a huge part of it as well. But a lot of them don't prepare themselves to be a wife. That's another subject. That's another subject as well. I don't buy that we aren't pushed the argument. It's your choice as a grown adult. The argument goes to the argument that women like the people while men like things. Yeah, that's I think Joey, I think you got a very good point there. Same reason why women dominate the healthcare system. Absolutely. Dave Tyler says that was my challenge. I was told to go to school, but I didn't know about what to learn about finance or what degrees can help for a long term. End up in my 30s rebuilding my base. Yes, that's why being intentional is important, and knowing what to learn, as Brother Rose said, it's very important as well too. And when you tell people, you have to give them the specifics, the granularity of it. That's what we teach you here on this channel as well too. What specifically you should be looking at. Jamayo says, I think pushing tech is something that you have to do on your own. You have to seek out mentorships, networks. What Black Heights is doing. Look at your watch history, and it will show you who you are. Ooh, my boy is saying something right there. He is absolutely saying something. Look at your watch history, and it would show you who you are. I love that. John Maxwell, great point. I was often told by many to just get an education with no specific guidance. I think that was the case with many, and as a result, some people have obtained general education. Yep, it's true. And in film and finance in Canada, there are people making $90,000 a week as a controller, and it's not really accounting. These industries are controlled by families working together. Absolutely. Tony, they say preach. I wish I had this conversation before undergrad. Absolutely. It's time to have a conversation. And here's the thing. The good thing is this, Balti, is that you can share this with somebody else so that they don't make the same mistake, right? That's the biggest point of in sharing this information. You can share that information. Just because you made that decision doesn't mean that somebody else within your family or your friends have to go through and live through that experience as well. That's why I wanted to share as much information as possible today, so that if we chose to get some of these degrees, we can go back and say. That's why I asked Trina that same exact question. I'm her niece, Antoinette. I want to go to college. What is it that you're going to tell me? And she basically said, that wouldn't be the route that I would tell you to go. So good. Zane says, so is a bachelor's in CS useless? A bachelor's in computer science, Zane, so a bachelor's in computer science isn't useless. But here's the thing about computer science these days, right? It's becoming very saturated to a point where, the degree itself is very broad because there's so many things about computers, right? If you want to become the developer, there's no point to get a computer science degree. You can become a developer by doing a boot camp. You don't have to go and spend 4 years become a developer by getting a computer science degree. If you want to do cybersecurity, there's other programs that get you into cybersecurity. If you want to become a database administrator, there's other programs you can do. So there's a reckoning that's happening with the computer science degree. I still think it's a STEM. It's a powerful STEM. It's a great degree to have, but you have to really understand what it is that you really want to do. And are you going to really spend that money to do something and get a computer science degree, not knowing exactly what you want to do with it? So that's what I would say about that, Zane. I would say this is a lot better than the ones that you found on the bottom of the list over here. So don't go to school to do that. How about Chili? Networking and who knows you because of who wants to know you. Very good point. Very good point in saying not useless, but is it not necessary? I don't think it's not useless for sure. Is it necessary to become a developer? You don't need a computer science degree, guys. It's a lot of ways that you can become a developer without a computer science degree. How about Chili? Soft skills gaming. Soft skills are underestimated. You're absolutely right. That's what gets you ahead, guys. I'm telling you right now. That's what gets you ahead. That's what gets you the money. That's what gets you to the bag. There's a huge push for women. There's a huge push for women. There needs to be more support for Black men to get into tech and engineering. I agree. That's why this channel exists as well. Yeah, that's what I see. I still see some folks thinking tech is only the Indian guy and not me. Yeah. That's what a lot of people believe. I don't know why, but it's not the truth. Great point, Black Heights. I think we need to say that Black youth need to know about tech. Absolutely. Damn, BO, let her reply. Damn, Bo, let her reply. Okay, taking mindset and culture shift. All right, I got this, sir. This is a. He wanted me to let her reply to the political. Nah, man, we're not gonna open that up. We're definitely wasn't gonna open the political thing up on here. She was getting ready to cook too. Trina looked like she was about to take off on him. She was about to hit one of those offset verses on us. And J-Lo, the mechanic says, yeah, there are plenty of opportunities for IT professionals in automotive too, especially in cybersecurity and AI. Absolutely, brother. Ms. Wade, thank you so much. Tam, tech is in every company. You don't have to push. You just need to know your options. Absolutely. Computer science and computer engineering, it depends on your lane. Absolutely. I agree with that too, Tam. Tam is awesome. I saw her on Anton Daniel's show the other day. She gave a good background of the situation that was going on with Black Girls Code, right? I love that she came on there and gave us some insights there. But guys, I appreciate you. I wasn't going to be here. I didn't think I was going to be here for 2 hours, but it came out to be an hour and 55 minutes. Thank you so much for rocking with me as always. Guys, do me a favor. If you like this content, go ahead and share it. If you like this content, make sure you hit the like button. We need this this message to continue to resonate with people, right? Tech is important. Tech is very, very important. It looks like we got a little troll in here. Let's get his ass out of here. Okay. All right. Let's get him out of here. I have no idea. Okay, there we go. Block him. Boom. All right, guys. But thank you so much for rocking with me as always. And you guys know how we do it. Until next time. Peace.